So best England and Manchester United 11 of all time. So I'm doing this one on my own. This is quite hard actually. So let's just stop this music. Right, so I've gone for my England 11. This is quite hard actually. My goalkeeper, again, I've gone for a 3-4-3 formation. My goalkeeper of all time, I've gone for Gordon Banks or Peter Shilton. In my lifetime, obviously, I would say Peter Shilton probably has been the best England goalkeeper. Seaman did well as well. Seaman pushed him a long way. Obviously, Ray Clements as well, but Shilton got most caps. But I think Gordon Banks would probably win the vote there because he is the only England goalkeeper to have won the World Cup. So it'd probably have to be Gordon Banks as number one. For my three defenders, it was a tough one because we've got some great defenders over the years. Tony Adams didn't make it, and he was a brilliant defender for England. Many other players. So I've gone for either Terry Butcher, Bobby Moore, and Stuart Pearce, with Dez Walker as my substitute defender. Again, I've had to miss out some great defenders there as well. Gary Neville, Kenny Sansom, Rio Ferdinand, John Terry. So that was tough. But I think Butcher, he was a great defender for England. He was obviously famous for the headband when he was injured, but carried on playing for England. He was a bit of a crazy man, but a great defender. Not many people got past Terry Butcher. And he was also good at set pieces as well and scored his fair share of goals as well. Bobby Moore, obviously legend, won the World Cup with England in '66. Many people say if Duncan Edwards hadn't died in the Munich air disaster, Duncan Edwards would have stopped Bobby Moore winning any caps for England. So maybe I should put Duncan Edwards in this team. It's a tough one. I've never seen Duncan Edwards play, but my dad told me he was absolutely a wonderful player. Stuart Pearce, I would put him in the team because of his fighting qualities. Brilliant shot, brilliant leader, brilliant player. Gave 100% every game. Never pulled out of a challenge. And I really thought the world of Kenny Sansom as well, so that was a hard decision. Dez Walker as well would probably be my sub-defender. It might be a surprise, many, for me putting him in the team, because a lot of you probably never even heard of him. But on his day, there was not many people that got past Dez Walker. In fact, the Nottingham Forest fans used to sing, "You'll never beat Dez Walker." And it's true, he was a very, very fast player. And even if you got past him, his recovery rate was so good that he could get back and win the ball off you, even if you'd got past him. So he was a very, very good player. My midfielders, gone back a little bit in time here. My sub would be Glenn Hoddle. Again, another brilliant player. Oh, we've got, and Paul Gascoigne as well, who I've just remembered. Gazza, what a player as well. But my actual four in midfield will be Stanley Matthews, Sir Stanley Matthews, Duncan Edwards, Brian Robson, and John Barnes. Now, John Barnes, many might think that's a controversial person to put in, and probably it is, because he never really played as well for England consistently as he did for Liverpool. For Liverpool, he was outstanding pretty much every game. But for England, he had his moments where he didn't shine. But the reason I put him in my team is when he did shine, he was world class. Like, I can remember a few goals he scored and a few dribbles and runs. I'll tell you when England realised what a good player he was, and when the fans realised what a good player he was after he retired, and England didn't really have a recognised left winger for many years. So, in fact, they probably still don't. So that was why I would put John Barnes in my all-time team. And obviously, Robson speaks for himself. Robson carried the England team in the 1980s. He was a brilliant player, brilliant captain, brilliant leader, scored some amazing goals as well. If he could have just stayed injury-free more, England might have won a World Cup. You never know, in the 80s and even in 90 possibly. But it was a big loss when Robson got injured in both World Cups, actually, 86 and 90. In 82, Robson scored the quickest goal in a World Cup for England. after 27 seconds, I believe it was, or 30 seconds, something like that, against France. And again, England actually went out of that World Cup without losing a game. So they ended up drawing against Germany and drawing against Spain, and then got knocked out. I can remember in '86 as well. If you think about it, okay, Maradona scored that wonder goal against Argentina, but the other goal would not have counted today in the VAR. Okay, I hear you say, nor would have England's goal in 1966. So things do balance out, don't they? So yeah, it's true. But Stanley Matthews on the right, the wizard of dribble, what a player. So he'd get in my team. Duncan Edwards, never had a chance to fulfil his potential, but many say, and I agree, he would have probably been the best player ever to play for England or United. My strikers would be Shearer, Rooney and Lineker. Well, Lineker, all three of those players, absolutely wonderful strikers. That keeps out people such as Sir Geoff Hurst, only scorer of a hat-trick in a World Cup final. What a player, what a nice guy as well. I've met him twice, nice guy. Michael Owen's not even in the team as well, another good player, top player. So England have had some great strikers over the years, obviously missing out some other names such as Kevin Keegan and some other great players too. But I think Shearer, Rooney and Lineker would score my goals for my team. And this is a great team. So that's my England team. My Manchester United team. Brian, have you got the Manchester United music? Okay, for a little bit of a intro for that, please. Should have worn my scarf, shouldn't I? Okay, thank you. So for Manchester United, now this was actually quite hard. I've gone again with a 3-4-3 formation just so I can get some more playmakers in the team. My goalkeeper choice was a straight choice between Schmeichel and Van der Sar. I've gone for Schmeichel for the fact that he's more kind of my age group, and I remember him better. Van der Sar was obviously a brilliant keeper as well, and there's no doubt about the fact that he was a great keeper for United. But I've gone for Schmeichel. I think Schmeichel, to me, was the best goalkeeper I've ever seen. My three defenders would be, now controversially, Dennis Irwin, Nemanja Vidic, and Roger Byrne, the captain of the Busby Babes. Roger Byrne actually started his career at United as a left winger and then got put back to left back and still chipped in with goals as well and was a great player. Now this leaves out some great defenders such as Gary Pallister, Steve Bruce, Jaap Stam, Rio Ferdinand. How can we leave these players out? It was very hard. Gary Neville, Phil Neville, some tough choices there. And I think Wan-Bissaka, if he carries on in the vein of defending, if he can actually start distributing the ball better, he's going to be in this team as well. Because I think his defensive qualities are outstanding. But unfortunately, his delivery isn't fantastic. Although he started to get better, he crossed a nice one for Martial recently, where Martial scored a good header. So he's going to be one to look for in the future, I think. But I think that defence will be good. Vidic is a great leader, great player, very hard person to play against, unless he's coming against what was that Liverpool striker called that always used to get Vidic sent off. I've forgotten his name now. But yeah, Gary would know. I'll ask him later. I've forgotten his name. The Spanish guy. Anyway, my midfielders would be controversially here. I'm going to go on the left. First choice Ryan Giggs. Second choice Gordon Hill. I liked him. Good player. Bobby Charlton in the middle. Substitute Roy Keane. Again, I love Roy Keane, but Bobby Charlton's got to be in there. And Brian Robson. Substitute Duncan Edwards, because I didn't see him play myself. So I've got to put Robson in. He was my favourite player. And on the right, this is hard. I've put Ronaldo, Kanchelskis, Koppel and Beckham. So any one of those four would grace my team. I used to love Kanchelskis. I thought Kanchelskis was great. Running down the wing, great player. I was gutted when United sold him. We got rid of him far too early. Like we got rid of Hill too early. We should have kept both those players for much longer. They were great players, but for whatever reason, we didn't keep them. It was our loss. I think Ronaldo would probably have to be in there. But again, that leaves out Koppel Koppel was a great player. Cruelly, his career was cut short a bit by injury, but he was a great player as well. And David Beckham as well. What a player as well. But I think Ronaldo has to be my right winger. So that's interesting. Then of my three strikers, I've gone for Scholes, Cantona, and George Best. Again, that was very hard. But Best, all legends, three of them. Many people have said that Scholes is the best player they played with, and it's hard to argue with them, really. Scholes was a fantastic player. Cantona was the catalyst for United. And George Best, George Best says it all. But that leaves out Dennis Law, my dad's favourite player. So, and what a player he was, Dennis the King, and Rooney as well. And even Mark Hughes, what a player too. And I've written McClare. Now, many of you might laugh at me for saying that, but McClare was the first player to come to United since George Best and score over 20 league goals. As a player, as a supporter, I will never forget that. And that was good. So my Man United team is actually more controversial. It was harder to do than my World 11 and my England 11. And I've had to miss out some fantastic players because many of these players have given me a lot of joy as a supporter over the years. So that's why they make my team. I'm interested to see what everyone else says. And so if you want to do an interview or post your team, send me your team. I will gladly talk about it. Thank you for your time. See you later. Ryan, how do I stop it? Diddly 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 diddly.